Welcome back, everybody. We're now joined by Georgia Congressman Doug Collins via Skype. He's the ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee. Sir, thanks for taking the time.
Chris, always good to be with you.
All right, Congressman, you have self-quarantined after coming into contact with somebody who tested positive at CPAC. How you feeling, and how many days do you have left under lock and key?
Well, we're feeling great. Unfortunately, we're out. We finished up a few days ago, and we're now just monitoring everything that's going on in Washington and keeping up with that, because there's a lot going on. And frankly, you know, I think the president's done a great job trying to calm American fears and also calm business fears. But there's a lot of things going on right now that we're just trying to make sure that Americans understand that there is a lot going on, but the worst thing that we can do right now is panic. We need to make sure that we're staying safe and doing the things that the CDC and others are recommending we do.
Yeah, it looks like the president and his administration are down to business. And I think I'm noticing some Democrats who are trying to do the same. But there are a lot of folks in and out of the press who are still focusing in on the job they say he's doing. They talked about test kits, which was revealed yesterday, this whole idea that the World Health Organization offered us test kits. It never happened. That political attack came courtesy of Joe Biden and his agents in the biased press. And the idea that the president called this virus a hoax, all of it disproven, but they just can't get off the drumbeat. What do you say to those individuals in the press and those individuals who are still in politics trying to make political hay out of a virus?
It's time to stop. I mean, the hatred of this president is just amazing to me. I've had to live through it for the last year and a half on the sham impeachment, the Mueller investigation, you know, just the attacks that came from the corrupt cabal. But the thing of it is, we need to get over that. They need to get over that and realize that our country has a crisis it's dealing with. The president is dealing with that crisis. You know, Donald Trump has put in place the team with Vice President in charge and others that has brought the full bore resources to the federal government to begin to make sure that the people are safe and to flatten this curve out. For anyone that is still continuing to attack what he says and how he says it and going back on things like that, really they need to take a self-assessment. Are they really helping themselves, or are they helping America? At the end of the day, right now, it's all hands on deck to make sure that this virus is controlled and that people are saved, and we have seen that because of the action of this administration.
Yeah, and I think Americans actually get it when they hear somebody, you know, attacking or going right at the president. I think they know and understand when they're working in their own best interests or they're working in the interest of the country. Let me ask you about economic stimulus. It's tricky. I mean, the president and Mnuchin came on the air the other day and basically said, look, we don't want to give checks to millionaires and billionaires. How do you get money into the hands of folks and then get it to where it needs to go, those impacted by the virus?
Well, we need to make sure that we're doing things that actually work. And I think that's the current situation. I've got small businesses in my community. I've been receiving texts today from small businesses that are, frankly, service-orientated, service industry jobs that are going out of business. I had one that was based on that they did children's parties as a petting kind of zoo. And they're struggling because people are canceling parties. The president understands this. I want us to make sure that we're putting aid where it needs to be, that they can draw on resources that they currently have, either through retirement plans or other things. We need to be careful about any direct payments. You know, that needs to be part of the equation to look at, but I'm very skeptical of some of the ideas that are out there. So I'm looking forward to the Secretary Mnuchin, the Senate, and the others working together to find a package that works, not only in the short run, but in the long run as well. Remember, we are going to come out of this. I do believe that the administration and others, we will come out on the other side, but we also need to make sure that what we do now, make sure that when we come out on the other side, that we're as sound as we are now going into it. And that's just something we need to balance very carefully. We need to make sure our businesses are taken care of, our small business. One for me is our food supply chain. I've talked a great deal about how we are to get in our workers so that our crops can be picked here in Georgia and other places in the country. We need to maintain food security. We need to maintain food safety. That is something that I think the administration is working on, and we've been very focused on as well.
Yeah, all across America, people are having to change their habits. It's kind of the new abnormal, as we've been calling it here on the Salcedo Show. You are running for the United States Senate, and many consider you to be the actual conservative choice in that race. How is your campaign impacted in running that race?
Well, it's been compacted because we don't do it. We're not doing events. We're not able to go out. I mean, the bottom line down here shows that when we're out and about, we're winning, and we're going to continue to do that when we can. But we want everybody to be safe at first. We want them to know that that we're available for them to ask questions on. They can always go to, from a Senate perspective, DougForGeorgia.com is a place where we're working, but we're doing that on the side. We're making sure that we put our congressional duties first. We're making sure that people are safe and that they know that we're fighting for them just like we will fight for them in the United States Senate.
Now, let me get out some policy here. The Senate passed a temporary reauthorization to the FISA Act. I think I remember reading it's about 75 days, but they didn't address any of the abuses in this thing. And I'm curious to what you think. Should the president veto this until the Congress gets serious about FISA abuse?
I think it's something he needs to seriously consider at this point. The Senate, in my opinion, did not do their job. This is our time in which we need to do the things. The measures that we passed in the House bill last week that I helped work on, along with others like Jim Jordan and Devin Nunes, who've been fighting this battle up front, we put in changes that we felt like would actually help the president not be any other president have to go through what President Trump did. And it also protected American citizens like Carter Page, who had to endure the wrath of a FISA from a corrupt cabal. I'm very disappointed in what the Senate has done, and they've done so, frankly, under the cover of coronavirus. We'll have to deal with that as we go forward, but there's no bill that should ever be permanently signed in this that does not require and have changes into our FISA Title I, which is the part of the bill, the Title I, the court part, which is permanent law right now. It has to be changed. So it's very disturbing that what we've seen come through. I'm upset about it. But again, the Senate just, frankly, they just punted on this one. And I don't understand that. So allow that to go on UC in the Senate to get back over to us on a extension. The question is, when are they ever going to not have an extension? The Senate could have been doing hearings on this for the last year and a half, have chose not to, and now we're in a position to where they're just extending something with no changes behind it. So it is very concerning to me, who's actually been in the front lines fighting for this president and for others to be protected from a court and from a DOJ that had went corrupt.
Yeah, no wonder you want to get over there and maybe change some perspectives. On a related issue, the FBI was found by the Inspector General to have out-and-out lied, fabricated evidence, our own FBI against American citizens, yet Americans are getting more and more frustrated about how there's no accountability for individuals who have abused their power. You say?
I say that this has got to stop. And I think Bill Barr has done some good first steps. I think Chris Wray has attempted some first steps as well, but they're not what needs to be happening. And I think that's why the Durham investigation in this, my hope is, will lead to accountability and hopefully, especially from what we have seen, for those who just outright lied, who fabricated the charges. If there need to be charges, they need to be filed. I was very disappointed that Andrew McCabe was let go, basically. He lied to his own organization, and yet they felt like they couldn't go forward on a case. That's not what I believe would happen to you or I or others in the country, and that's why people are losing faith many times in our Department of Justice. They see them attacking this president, then candidate, then President Trump, and they don't get it. They feel like that there's a two-tier set of justice. If you don't believe it, ask Hillary Clinton. There is a two-tier system of justice under the old Department of Justice, but she got by with whatever she wanted to get by with, and that's just wrong.
Yeah, no kidding. That very well put. Congressman, thank you so much. Appreciate your time as